Sure. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. All right, perfect. Oh man, so just relaxing right now. I haven't used this channel for like a while. I'm just right now relaxing in my house, um, making a portrait painting, and then I was like, doing the news as everybody else, making myself busy. So this whole crazy shit going on between Elon and Trump, I find it interesting. Something that was coming. I could like I'm not gonna okay. So I'm not gonna say that I've seen it coming, right? Obviously every relationship at a certain point, you know, they have their threshold. And then now watching this whole thing just crumbling down, many theories and many people are looking at it like, well, what does that mean, right? Me personally, this is where I stand on the matter, right? Elon was right. Elon is right when it comes to spending. When it comes to, because if the goal is to cut spending, to cut a whole bunch of pork and things that really doesn't matter, right? We can actually slim down the government, make it leaner, and make it able to actually trim down the deficit. However, now, if let's say the new bill, pretty much all the cut that you've made, you could have saved. Now you end up like um, the next spending bill is a whole lot more. It's like, then what the hell am I doing all these things for Doge for? Like, what the fuck? So to me, it looks like Trump was no longer interested in Doge, right? And therefore, so this guy is like, okay, so he's car is getting like freaking keyed and firebomb and all this terrorist attack against his company, right? His stock is dropping, and the tariff on China is hurting his business. All the while, you take away the subsidies in the bill, but give it to your oil buddies, and he's like, dude, I'm the one that's doing all this shit for you, and you're going like what the fuck? So I can understand Elon's perspective, right? Totally, I can totally understand his perspective. But the way he went about it, there's no coming back from that. It's like, I understand the egos went high, and then you have like um you feel disrespected. You feel like you've been wasting your time doing something for the government, and then your counsel is not even being heard. That would piss me off. And I get that part. But the way you burn that bridge, there's no coming back from that. And I don't think he wants to. Because to me, it's more like, what the fuck were you thinking, bro? Like, though you went about it the wrong way. And he's a very smart guy, right? He's a very smart guy. But when it comes to understanding people, there's a disconnect between him and the American people, right? Because I'm gonna show you like where the disconnects are. He's a tech person where most Americans, right, and the most of Trump's base are manufacturing, right? They are the warehouse, the people that actually know blue collar, most like a lot of blue collar, and there's not too many like I wouldn't say the tech culture got behind Trump like at the last minute, right? Because remember, they were doing a lot of the censorship. Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, Amazon with Jeff Bezos, and then before Trump purchased Twitter, basically like they were blocking Trump all over the place. He didn't really have a platform, right? So Elon have done a lot for this culture, right? he had done a lot for this culture. Purchasing Twitter was actually one of the main factor why Trump actually won the election, right? Because if it wasn't for the purchase of Twitter, that means that like a lot of these things wouldn't be able to get exposed because if they were blocking all information, so the American public wouldn't be able to actually see what the true nature of the Democratic parties is, right? Because a lot of stories would have been buried under this notion of false information and all that stuff, right? So they would have continued with um, the same gaslighting attempt that they were doing through this whole time. So then Elon purchasing Twitter, now the truth was able to actually flow out there a lot more. You were able to actually see the things that they wouldn't want you to see, right? So that's a huge impact that actually allowed Trump to win that election. But now, would it be possible for Trump to win without Elon? Possible, but it would have been slim to none. It would have been so freaking like the margin would have been very, very small, right? So it was a whole lot of combination, a whole lot of combination. But you have to admit that without Elon, um, whether he actually, he got an, or whether or not he was involved at the end of it, actually backing Trump at the end. I don't think his sponsorship of Trump was why Trump got elected. I think his purchase of Twitter had a bigger impact on Trump's election than his endorsement of Trump, right? So, but now, um, it feels like the way that um, the effort that he put into Doge, and then and Trump's bill was overwhelmingly more expensive than what it was supposed to be. So then, therefore, he feels like, well, what the hell am I wasting my time here doing all that cut when you actually not even taking most of my suggestions, right? So you're wasting my time. So, but the thing about with Elon, what he doesn't understand, there's a difference between, because like, even though you're right, even though you are correct, but when it comes to politics, then you also having to deal with people. They still want to have certain things for their constituency. And then therefore now the bill has to be as reasonable as possible without actually hurting the American people, right? Because if, let's say, without some of these implementation of some of these pork, right, these spending, without them, a lot of these, um, senators or people in Congress wouldn't vote for it, right? And then two, like politics is a team sport. And when you're actually so used to running companies, then it's very hard for you because you treat it like like a boardroom or like you like a CEO or stuff like that. Which is why Trump's first term was a lot more difficult, and his second term, he feels like he actually learned how to allow people to do their job instead of like micromanaging everything. So he's more like, all right, I'm the overhaul, I'm the overhead. Okay, you got this department, you got that department. And I'm like, so Trump had learned to govern while stepping back. And I don't think, which was different from his first term. In his first term, he was like always front and center almost for everything. And that also kind of damaged his reputation. As you can see, he's a little bit more cool off now. Even during that whole thing, he wasn't even like, his demeanor was a lot more calm. But anyway, so I guess my point is, um, even though I agree with the way what Musk was saying about the bill, but he burned that bridge. His reputation and his relationship with Trump, I don't think he can be repaired after that. But let me know what you think in the comment section. You know who it is. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.